Today we are starting with the first chapter of English literature, that is The Adventure of the Blue Carbuncle. This is written by Arthur Conan Doyle. So first we will have an introduction about the writer of the chapter and what the chapter is all about. Then I'll read it paragraph wise and I'll explain it to you. And the theme of this chapter is adventure and imagination. Starting from the writer, Arthur Conan Doyle was born in Edinburgh, Scotland. He was a novelist and writer of detective and science fiction. His famous detective Sherlock Holmes and his friend Dr. Watson are immortal characters. Some of his works are A Study in Scarlet, Sign of Four, The Adventure of Sherlock Holmes, and The Hound of the Baskervilles. These are some of the famous work of Arthur Conan Doyle. Now, what the chapter is all about, so this extract is adapted from a Sherlock Holmes mystery by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. The detective's famous approach that uses logic and deduction comes into play when he tries to solve the crime. So this is all about here. They are talking about some mystery. They are talking about some crime. And what is explained, what is the focus on the logic and the deduction that are used by the Sherlock Holmes to solve that mystery. Now I'm reading the chapter. I called on my friend Sherlock Holmes on the second morning after Christmas. He was sitting on the sofa in a brown dressing gown, holding a pipe with a pile of crumpled morning papers at hand. Beside the couch was a wooden chair. On the back of the chair hung a dirty, worn, hard felt hat. A lens and forceps lay upon the seat of the chair. Obviously, Holmes had hung the hat over the chair in order to examine it. So, from where the stories are starting, the writer of the story is telling that he was called by Sherlock Holmes to his house, and when he entered his room, here in this paragraph, he described that what all he saw there in that room. And what was when this happened? When was the day? It was the second morning after the Christmas when this incident took place. Means when the writer arrived at the place of Sherlock Holmes. So when he arrived there, Sherlock Holmes was wearing a brown dressing gown. He was holding a pipe and he was sitting on a sofa. And some of the papers were lying there crumpled. What does it mean by crumpled? They were not in a order. They were not kept there very systematically. They were lying here and there. And what's the other thing? That Sherlock Holmes was sitting on a sofa, but other than that, there was a wooden chair, and on the back of that wooden chair, a hat was hung, and the condition of the hat was also described that it was dirty, worn, hard. Means if you look at that hat, the condition of the hat was not good. It was very dirty, it was hard, it was worn from the places or at the various places on the hat. A lens and forceps lay upon the seat of the chair, and on the same chair at the back of which the hat was hung, on the seat of the same chair, a lens and a forceps was lying. All of you must be aware of the use of lens and forceps. Obviously, Holmes had hung the hat over the chair in order to examine it. What was the purpose of having those lenses and forceps there? Because Sherlock Holmes was using those lenses and forceps to examine that hat. Now the conversation started between the writer and the Holmes. Perhaps I interrupt you, I said. I said means the writer. Here the narration is first person. So the writer himself is telling the story. Perhaps I interrupt you. Not at all. I'm glad to have a friend with whom I can discuss my results, said Sherlock. So when the writer reached there, he told Sherlock Holmes that since he saw the things there, that the hat was lying there and the lenses and forceps were there, so he asked that maybe I interrupted you, you were doing something important and I'm disturbing you. So the reply from the Sherlock Holmes was, not at all. I'm glad to have a friend with whom I can discuss my results. He said, not at all. No, you are not disturbing me, but even I'm happy that you came here and now I can share my findings, my result about this hat with you. And now I have someone to whom I can tell the things. The matter is an ordinary one, he continued, but there are some points of interest in it.